leadership, what we find is it's actually who we are that makes us successful and determines if we're going to be influential as leaders in a positive way. And sometimes that most significant influence is in the small things. It's with our kids, it's with our parents, it's with our neighbors, it's with our classmates, where we lead and where success is actually most powerfully defined. So tonight I want to just look briefly at 3 strategies to consider as we challenge the status quo. I love reading just the values of the Society for Success and Leadership because I think it really speaks to what does define success. Sometimes we have to challenge the status quo. So I just want to highlight 3 strategies briefly for us to think about as we think about who we are and how we will define success and leadership in our lives. So the first one has to do with something that was not really a part of success or leadership, say 15 years ago. Anybody want to take a guess what it is? Do you know that the iPhone came out in 2007? 12 years ago. The iPad came out in 2010. Just 9 years ago. And yet, can we even think about what the world was like before we had these little interactive technologies that are so impactful in our lives today? And they are impacting significantly the way that we lead ourselves and the way that we influence others. In many ways, they are significantly positive. They are giving us opportunities. They're opening doors. But at the same time, there are some negatives that are emerging. And I want to just challenge us tonight that as leaders who are successful, we have to manage the technology in our life, not allow our technology to manage us. Because there are too many people who are struggling in success because they do not manage it. So let's just look quickly at a few quick statistics. Research is showing today that teens who spend more time on screen activities are more likely to be unhappy, and those who spend more time on non-screen activities are more likely to be happy. The correlation between social media use and loneliness is consistent across all demographic groups, regardless of your age, your background, your socioeconomic status, your level of education. The more people use social media, the lonelier they are. Profound, isn't it? Okay? We also know that teens who spend more than 3 hours a day on electronic devices are 35% more likely to have at least one suicide risk factor. More screen time causes more anxiety, depression, loneliness, and less emotional connection. And here is a profound one. 57% of young people, more young people, are sleep deprived now than they were in 1991. Now, I'm going to give you a reason to not be sleep deprived. Sleep deprivation makes you forgetful, it causes accidents, it can lead to depression and health issues, it decreases cognitive functions, and most importantly, it ages your skin. Okay, I'm 41, so this matters to me, okay? I don't want my skin aging. So, what we find is technology use is contributing to people staying up, surfing their social media feed, playing video games, texting their boyfriend or girlfriend until 2 a.m. Anyone else guilty of any of these things? Yes. Oh, I love honesty. Good leadership. Okay, we have honest people in the room. Okay, so one of the things as leaders we have to do, knowing that technology is not bad. Technology gives us lots of opportunities and presents lots of great tools for us to use in our leadership. But many people today are not experiencing success to the fullness that they could because technology is managing them. They are not managing their technology. So here's a few suggestions, just as we think about this strategy of managing our technology use. I call them tech recesses in my life, okay? So every once in a while, it's good to take a tech recess. Just build it into your life. Most of the leaders and the people around me that I talk to who are most successful as far as who they are, not necessarily what they do, but who they are. And their sense of contentment, their sense of peace, their sense of satisfaction and connecting with other people, most of them practice this skill, where maybe for 1 hour a day they turn off their phone. They disconnect they turn off the television, they disconnect the iPad. Sometimes it's practicing leaving it behind. So one of the things I like to do with my kids is if we go to the park or for a walk, I just leave it in the car. Why? Because otherwise, I feel like it's buzzing even when it's not, right? In my pocket. And I'm sitting there checking my phone, and what's happening? I'm missing out on life. Every once in a while, I actually take a couple of days and we disconnect as a family completely. Why? Just so we can actually look at each other in the eyes and have conversations. The other thing is setting parameters in your own life. At our house, there's no technology allowed in the bedrooms. Why? Because it's a place for us to sleep and to relax and to talk to each other. And so just what is it that is going to be successful in your life? What's going to allow you to be able to manage technology use in a way that's going to be productive? Jean Twenge says, she's a professor and researcher on generational and technological trends. She says, our phones let us record our lives, but sometimes they can get in the way of living our lives. As leaders, we cannot let technology get in the way of living our lives.